Dame Lillard's press conference yesterday.
Very cool moment.
Surreal.
Very surreal.
We knew it was announced. It was emailed to all the media, like, hey, it's happening Monday around 6 o'clock. Okay, cool. Yep, saw the signing. Still like seeing him walk out there with Joe Cronin after everything that had gone down between them and holding up that jersey again. I listened to Zach Lowe's podcast yesterday. He actually did a whole thing, like 20 minutes.
It's like the first 20 minutes of his pod was on the Blazers.
And he talked with Rob Mahoney. And Rob Mahoney is somebody that I'm going to be efforting to get on this season. He's a very tough person to book as a guest, but he's very knowledgeable. I think he knows ball really well. And they were talking about Dame, and he was trying to sum up why. He couldn't pinpoint quite why it felt so good to see Dame go back to Portland. It wasn't just, the old cliche thing of like player and market. He was like, there's something more here, and I can't quite pinpoint why. And I was talking to my brother-in-law is an absolute sicko Blazer fan. He still wishes Joel Przbilla's career was 5 years longer. Victor Kriapa just didn't get enough minutes. Like, every Blazer you could possibly think of. There was still potential in Hassan Jin.
Yes.
Every Blazer you could name, my brother-in-law has been a diehard supporter of it. And when they're bad, they're still good. And when they're good, they're great. And I called him because I was like, this is a big press conference to somebody like him. I thought it was big for me. And we were just talking this out, and we were trying to pinpoint why. What is the answer to it? Why it feels so special? And I don't know if you agree, but I think the biggest reason why that was such a monumental day, for me, he's just as authentic as any athlete in sports, period. That's it. He doesn't try to be something he's not. He doesn't annoy you with marketing gimmicks and campaigns. He doesn't take subliminal shots at his teammates. He's really buttoned up in the locker room. He gives thoughtful answers whenever he's asked a question. Consummate leader, consummate pro. And I just think anybody with a brain, Rob Mahoney, you and I, diehard fan, non-Blazer fan, you just can see that and feel that. And you don't get that a lot in pro sports anymore. Real authentic people. Not perfect, but real authentic people who just don't pretend to be something they're not.
He also, I think, hearkened to a bit of a dying breed in the NBA in an era in which there were maybe no other players that were like him. And that was in the prime of his career and when he was coming up, that it was an era of the NBA that we made fun of stars for jumping teams and demanding trades and going and joining somebody that beat you. The Kevin Durant move, the LeBron Heatles move, all the different guys that jumped ship to try and go win a championship. And I think that made for fun off-season fodder. It also at times felt like it killed the intrigue in the end of the season because we knew who was going to be in the finals every year, and the ultimate outcome was basically decided before the season began. And he was always somebody who swam against that current. He was always somebody who every single offseason we had to suffer through the first take segments from Stephen A. Smith about why he should be a Knick or why he should be a Laker or all the stupid Jason McIntyre trade proposals that got thrown out there. He was one of the few, one of the rare guys who stayed loyal and committed, and obviously it ultimately led to him requesting a trade, and so that didn't stay true the entire time. But I think there's that feeling of like, yeah, this is where he was always supposed to be here. He was never supposed to leave. And even in his own words yesterday, you could tell he felt the same way about some of the stuff that he admitted about why the trade went down and how he felt when he was in Milwaukee. And so it almost feels like everything's right with the world and the stars are aligned again because he's always supposed to be in a Blazer uniform, and now he is again, finally.
To sum it up for any new listeners that aren't maybe as diehard sports fans that are hanging with us this morning on 105.1, our switch to FM, I actually said this to my brother-in-law. I said, it's Ross and Rachel.
Yeah, they're just supposed to be together.
They're just supposed to be together.
We know how this is going to end, right. So what are we farting around for?
Ross isn't going to marry her,
No.
and she's not going to stay with him. They're going to find each other at the airport, yes. And they're going to be together, and it needs to be that way. Here was Damian Lillard's opening statement at the press conference.
It never felt right not being home, and, through it all, I found my way back, and just fortunate to be back with the group that I was with prior to leaving, to be a part of a great situation at home. And I'm just excited, and really, really thankful and appreciative of the door being open for me to come back, even with me being hurt. And, it means a lot to me to not only play for this organization again, I never wanted to not be playing for this organization, but to be back in this community.
You know, you can think whatever you think about the team building, about how good or bad they're going to be this year, the Western Conference picture. There's a lot out there for sure. But I would say this, of the show that has been, I think our show has been critical and fair. Now, some of those moments, there's maybe a little more critical than fair. I don't know Joe Cronin that well. I've talked to him a little bit. He's a super nice dude. That guy has done an exceptional job, I think, of connecting the team back into the city. It was unplugged a little bit. It felt a little disconnected from what fans had come to grow up loving. Maybe they take a leap this year and they take a step in the right direction. Yesterday had to have felt great for Joe Cronin because he drafted a guy that had a great summer league debut, even though many were like, who is this cat?
Never heard of him.
He has added another consummate pro and leader in Drew Holiday, who's had a long, lengthy NBA career and won championships in 2 stops. Bringing Damian Lillard back had to have felt the best for him yesterday. And so Joe Cronin sitting up there, not saying a whole lot. He does have a cut that we're going to play, but letting Dame just get back into the flow of things as the franchise face.
It was nice to hear him talk again because you forgot how well-spoken he was and how great his interviews and press conferences usually are. He got exactly what he wanted, Joe Cronin did, out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, the press room last night was packed. I heard people asking questions, and I'm like, you don't even – what are you doing there? Why you don't even cover the Blazers? Why are you at this press conference? Some of them asking slightly weird questions, but I digress. He got exactly what he wanted. The attention, the eyeballs are on the organization, and there's not many moves that he could have made this offseason that would have accomplished that goal. And now the bigger question will become, how does this all actually come together, and does he actually impact winning a year from now when he's back from the Achilles injury?